Welcome back to AV Veterans Talk. We're continuing our conversation with this week's guest, Amanda Parrell. So, Amanda, you're working here in the Valley now, doing. You got a great job now. It sounds like you're real happy with where you're at. You work for
California Psych Care. Mm-hmm. I'm a behavioral instructor. Mm-hmm. I work with. It's not just with children with autism, but other learning disabilities, mm-hmm. Microcephaly, Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. All they changed it. It's not Down syndrome. It's they lack in intelligence. It's mm-hmm. another name for it.
Yeah.
But I work in that field.
Yeah, so it's probably really rewarding.
Oh, yeah, it is. I have 3 kiddos I work with. Yeah. I work Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. I work only a couple hours. Mm-hmm. But they're used to seeing me. When I come in, we run programs. There's incentives.
Yeah, okay.
So it looks like you're playing with them, but you're going through a program with them.
Absolutely. You're getting them to...
do and meet, to be more independent.
Yeah, so... And how long have you been there?
I applied, I got hired on, I think, in February. Mm-hmm. So I've been there just 2 months, mm-hmm. going on 3.
Yeah. So you're one of those people, too, that, I have a soft spot for because you're heavily into volunteering. And you've been to our Wreaths Across America at Lancaster Cemetery and participated in that. And you always bring your kids along. And you're telling me a little bit of a story about your daughter or something.
Yeah.
Share that a little bit.
Her teacher, it was an extra credit paper, mm-hmm. and it was any kid can explain the importance of volunteering, or if you have volunteered, explain it. Mm-hmm. And my daughter was able to use Wreaths Across America. She loves it. The boys absolutely love doing it. They love the importance of celebrating Christmas with fallen soldiers. They think it's important.
Oh, yeah. And I like the way you put that there, because sometimes we get a little bit of pushback of some people with saying, like, because buying the wreath and the money, well, couldn't our money be better spent, or stuff?
I've heard that.
Yeah. And it really, if we don't instill that service to country in our young people via, Wreaths Across America or programs similar to that, in the future, will we disconnect our children from understanding that the veterans of the day that are suffering from certain situations and stuff are not worthy of our help because they don't understand service to country, mm-hmm. Stuff. And Wreaths Across America, shows generations of soldiers that have stepped up and done great things. So we find that importance there. And, you've been there on those mornings in the cold and the rain, and how important that is in families and just, coming out together as a community and being a part of that. I think it's one of the great, how that program came about and stuff was just one of the great things of all time. And to see we as a nation and stuff kind of, pull together, now it's worldwide, and cemeteries even around the nation. I know we're going to try to wrap this up, but one thing I want to look back on, when you were in Italy, would you go into town in uniform or would you just wear civilian clothes?
Because I wore civilian clothes.
You wore civilian.
Back in the day, actually, my father-in-law, he was stationed in Gaeta. Yeah. He was with the flagship 30 years before I got there.
Right.
He had to wear uniform on occasion.
Yeah.
Me there? No.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Well, was there ever an occasion in Italy and stuff? And I was kind of curious as to how the military, in Italy and stuff, if you happened to have been in uniform and stuff, how the locals would interact with you and stuff was...
The locals, I would put it this way. They appreciated, but they didn't like us.
Yeah.
And I do know for a fact if you go in Rome at the bus station or
mm-hmm.
train station, there's a little bookstore, and it's Hating America.
Oh, wow.
It's one little section. I got to see that, and I'm like, oh, but I didn't look it. I blended in. Right. I looked Italian, so they would speak to me in Italian. I spoke a little bit.
Yeah.
Got me by.
Yeah.
And they always thought if I wasn't Italian, oh, she's from Spain. I was like, 2 thumbs up for me.
There you go.
You can't tell who I am.
Yeah. So, wow. And I don't know how you prepare yourself for something like that to see.
It makes you see and understand. I'm more appreciative. I'm American, but I can see it for that particular instance and just go, I know for a fact that you're going to come across, it's not going to surprise you. Yeah. Either like you or you don't.
Yeah. And I see that playing out and stuff. I just spent some time with some French people and stuff, but it was the French military which has a different aspect of like the World War II generation that had the ultimate respect for American soldiers and what they did and things like that. But as generations have distanced themselves from that history, there's a change there and stuff, and I that hurts me, and stuff, because really, we as a country have done so much for the world, positive, and stuff when it comes to relief and standing up for those that have no voice and things like that and stuff. And that's what you were on that ship doing. You were out there serving and stuff to make sure that people around the world have a voice and stuff and are protected, So anyway, well, you're the big volunteer. I'm sure I'm going to cross paths with you many times. I cried on your shoulder the other day and stuff a little bit, stuff when we had a little bit of issue in my life and stuff. It's always you're one of those great people. Now that I know that you're that therapist person and stuff, I may start booking appointments with you. Okay? So you can help me along. So I'm sure everybody here at Aerotech would enjoy. So we need to get Bob back online and stuff and everything. So anyway, I want to thank you and stuff, and I think, what, you're one of those people and stuff I've probably interviewed more times than just about anybody else, but you've got a great story. And, maybe we should consider bringing your husband in here sometime.
Yeah, he has pretty good ones.
Yeah, I'd love to sit down and chat with him, and and I'm glad that he's finally sort of getting the care that he needs.
He wouldn't go unless the whole conversation came about. I asked him, I go, "You're gonna go, right?" He's like, well, "Why don't you go?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, fine." I go, "You need me to go with you?" He's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, fine."
Yeah, you're that anchor.
Yep.
Stuff, and nice Navy term for you there and stuff, So, and I'm glad that that's all working out for you. You got a great family. They're focused, doing good things, and you're doing great things for our community. So, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And stuff, and we'll do that, and we'll set your husband up, okay?
Yeah.
He'll come in here. So, anyway, that's it for this segment of AV Veterans Talk with United States Navy veteran. By the way, I never saw what rank did you rise to?
I got up to IT2.
IT2 and stuff and everything. So we appreciate her coming in here and sharing her stories with you. I'm Bob Alvis, and thanks for joining us for this segment of AV Veterans Talk.